Hello everyone. So I recently made a video about why net worth explodes after 1 crore, and I shared my plan as to how I am planning to get to 100 crores. And a lot of people ask me the question as to how they should make their first crore. And I can share from my experience as to how I would plan to make a crore if I had to start all over again. And luckily my portfolio has been working really well. But more important than that, I've been investing a lot of money in my portfolio. And that's because I've been making a lot of money in my business. So I've found the paths to building a business that allows me to consistently have my investments, and then also found a way to invest that money so that it keeps growing. And I think those are the pieces of the puzzle that you need to figure out. And I am right now close to my 3rd crores in terms of my investment portfolio in equity. And all of the funds that I've put into it have been coming from my online business. So I'm going to share quickly what my holdings are so that you can have a look at my portfolio. And just to understand overall what I've invested and what the market has given me back. So if you look at my portfolio here, let me just share this as well. So I've invested around 2.2 over time. And, I remember 4 years ago, I had around, I think 6 years ago, I had around 20 lakh rupees. And 4 years ago, I made my first crore, and now I'm on my 3rd crore. And that's the point that I wanted to share, is that once you figure the things out, your money will grow faster than it was before. The first crore is the hardest, and this is how I made it, or I would make it, right? So that's what I want to share in this video. So it's grown to around 2.87, close to 2.9 CR, and 65 lakhs has been given back to me from the market, and it continues to grow in the market. So how do we do this? How do we get this money first? Let's look at that before we get into, how do we invest it? So I'm also going to cover my portfolio. I'm going to show you my top holdings that have made me most of the money. And before that, let's start with the key topic, which is how to make your first crore. Okay, so let's get this started. So assuming I had to start again, these are the steps that I would take. The first thing, fundamental blueprint that you need to understand, is that money is basically equal to the perceived value that you provide to the other person. Now I say perceived value because I'm a marketeer and I'm coming from a business perspective, but it's actually, of course, real value, but you'll also have to show the value that you provide to your customers, to the, if you're working in a job, for example, to your boss, the value that you bring to the table, right? That's the only way that you can make money. Now, the amount of money that you have is also a good indicator that this is the amount of value that you've provided to the society, to the market, to the economy. So that's the value that you've provided, right? And how do you provide value? You provide value by solving people's problems. And the bigger you solve, the bigger problems you solve, the more value you provide, the more money you make. So just remember this equation, because this is really important for people to get out of their limiting beliefs, which a lot of people have, that I can only make so much, or I can only get this kind of a job. If you have the ability to solve bigger problems with your same skill set, probably, then you can add more value. And when you can add more value, you can make more money, right? So that's how you make money. It's not about hacking the system. It's not about finding some, small loophole in a system and trying to capture that. It's of course not about anything which is gray hat. It's mostly about just providing value. Okay. So looking for problems, solving those problems, and making money in exchange for the value that you provide. Now, how do you make money? So this is a nice quote, and I'm going to break it down. You can make money 2 ways: make money, make more, or spend less. Like, those are the 2 ways you'll get to keep most of the money, and then you can invest that money, right? So what are the 2 ways? You make more money or you spend less. Now, I also have a quote here, which I want to show you guys, which is, there's a limit to how much you can save, but there's no limit to how much you can make. So you can only save up to a certain amount of money, but आप कितना पैसा कमा सकते हो उस पे कोई लिमिट नहीं है. You can make as much money as you want. Now again, this is also getting rid of some limiting beliefs, and a lot of people come with the mindset of this is the only amount of money that we can make. And I see that in the comments on my YouTube videos, which is why I'm saying this. I'm not judging anyone. And you will only achieve success in life in proportion to your limiting beliefs, right? So the more limiting beliefs you have, probably the less successful you'll be, because you're limited by your beliefs itself. So once you're limited in your mind, you'll be limited in life, right? Once you are limitless in your mind, you'll be limitless in life. So finding a sweet spot there is a good way to get to your goals, right? So a lot of people commented on my previous videos about No, a person in a tier 1 city only earns this much money. A person in a tier 2 city only earns this much money. The average person earns only this much money. So if you're already assuming you are going to be the average person, you're definitely going to make the average amount of money. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You may come back home, enjoy a good meal, and just be happy about it. And there's nothing wrong about it. But if you're probably watching this video, you do want to make a few crores and you do want to enjoy life. You do want to probably just have the resources to provide for your family, not just the basic necessities, but also the luxuries of life. You want to enjoy the finer things of life, maybe. Whatever your goals are, just remember that there is no limit to how much money you can make. So get that out of your head. But there is a limit to how much you can save, right? So for example, if you're making a salary, let's say you're making 1 lakh rupees a month, then there is a limit to how much money you will be able to invest every month. You'll be only able to invest, let's say 60,000 rupees. Even if you just spend 40,000 rupees a month, you'll probably be able to invest 60,000 rupees. But if you can make 2 lakh rupees a month and still spend 40,000 a month, now you're investing 1.6 lakh rupees a month. So the earning potential has to increase. This is my perspective on things. And this is why I don't really recommend depending only on a job. If your job pays you a variable, then it could work. So the better you do at the job means the more value you provide, the more money you'll make. That makes a lot of sense. But if your job is capped at a certain salary, that this is the X amount and you cannot get more than that X amount, that means there'll be no point of providing more value to the company. Of course, you can think of providing more value and then waiting for 1 year to get an appraisal, but there's no sure shot answer to that. You don't know how much percentage that's going to be. Plus, the compounding does not happen because you'll have to wait for that money to come next year, then put it in investments, and then it'll compound. So you don't get the time advantage. The other problem is a job is typically you'll be going to an office, you'll be seeing other people, you'll be seeing other people go to movies, go shopping. I don't know what guys do, but for example, I'm usually working remotely. I'm sitting in my house. I live with my family. I live near the beach. I have a very slow life. So I'm not seeing a lot of materialistic things happening around me. But if you're seeing that, then you're probably going to get on that trap of spending the more money that you make. And especially if you're in a job where there are other people that you have to deal with who make your kinds of income and then have credit card debts and so forth, maybe you get in that same loop. So you want to get out of some sort of, what I feel is get out of this trap where you can increase your earning potential and also not have to spend a lot of money. And apart from money, we'll also cover about time and energy, which are things that a job takes more as per me. So for example, commuting to a workplace could be an additional time. You could have stress from your manager, which could be an additional stress. Now there is stress in all kinds of things. There's a lot of stress in business as well. But it's not a trap that will limit you to your earning potential, right? So these are the 3 things I would need or I would think about before I start my journey if I had to refresh everything again and make 1 CR. Okay, the first thing is I need a way to make more money. The second thing is I need a way to keep more of that money. So if I'm making more money, I also want to keep more and more of that money with me, right? Why am I keeping it? To invest it. So that's the third one, a way to grow your money. Now, the reason why I say keep instead of save is because save, the word itself means that it's just cash sitting in your bank or sitting in a savings account, which is hardly beating inflation, maybe beating inflation by 1% or so, which is not going to really grow a lot in the future. It's not going to have the benefit that you need, right? So you got to make, keep, grow. So just remember those 3 keywords. So what's the way to make more money? In my case, I would pick a business. And I'll specifically pick a service-based business, and I'll tell you the reasons why. What's the way to keep more money? And in my case, I would limit my lifestyle options. I would try to stay away from a big city, which is very helpful. So I live in a small town. Of course, I don't live in India most of the time. I'm in South Vietnam, but I live in a small town here near the beach. So it helps me keep a lot of money. It's a very low cost of living place. It's also a very slow living kind of place. And I don't see a lot of people spending a lot of money around me. So for example, I was living in Delhi where I can see a lot of money being spent. And I think sometimes you have to spend money in Delhi to be part of certain crowds, which I don't want to do because I don't really care about if I look like I'm part of that crowd or not. But what's more important for me is to just be able to save that and grow that money, right? So using the word keep, just because I don't want people to think this as saving in a bank account or saving in cash. The third thing is to grow your money. And for me, it's index funds. That's the vehicle that I use to grow my money. I'm going to show you my portfolio as well after this. So hang tight so that you can see how I'm growing my money. Okay. So what's the business? That's the way that you make more money. You can start a services business, a product business, or a content business. Okay, a product is similar. It's simply either an online product or an offline product. So a physical product that you can sell, you might have seen a lot of those on Shark Tank India, for example, or a digital product that you can sell. So you might have seen those in SaaS companies, startups that they have these subscriptions and all of that. That's all product business. Then a lot of content businesses picking up. Of course, I do have a productized service to some extent. I have info products, I have these YouTube videos, but my main business is the services business. And that would be the business of my choice, even if I had to start again. That was the first thing that I started in my career, in my journey. And that would be, again, the thing that I would choose. And the reason for services business is that you could just literally start anytime. There's high profit margins. It's a good lifestyle business. So you're not completely sacrificing yourself. You don't need investors. You don't need all of that stress. So for example, with a product business, you want to scale eventually. And of course, that's a scalable business. So you can always start a services business, use the cash flow to start a product business in the future if you feel like it. And a content business, again, is something which is, for example, a YouTube channel or people doing a lot of influencer marketing on Instagram and other platforms. I don't consider content as a business, at least till now. And services is my main focus. I do like content because it's a channel for me to share what I've learned, right? So services business, how do you figure out which service that you can provide, right? So this is the Venn diagram. So the overlap of this will give you the answer. One thing is things that you enjoy doing. So start listing those down. So for me, for example, I enjoy doing a lot of fitness activities, outdoor activities. I also enjoy doing marketing. Digital marketing is my core fun thing to do. Then there's cooking. I enjoy cooking. So all of the things that you enjoy doing, right? Just list them, all of them one by one. Then things that people will actually pay you to do. That means that you can provide value in those areas and you'll get paid for those areas. And finally, things you're good at. Something you enjoy doing doesn't mean that you're really good at it. Like cooking, for example. Just kidding. Like I'm okay with cooking, but not something that I have that kind of good expertise that I can provide so much value to, let's say, a fine cuisine, fine dining area, become a chef there. In that case, yes, I can make a lot of money, but I'm not that good at it, right? So I'm good enough to cook for my family from time to time. So you find that overlap. For me, it's digital marketing, right? So growth marketing specifically is something I enjoy doing. People pay me to do that. I'm really good at it. And that's something that I focus on here. Okay. So what are the variables on your journey? Now you've selected your business. You want to start a services business. Maybe you have a job. Maybe you don't. In all of these things that you're doing, maybe you have children like me, or maybe you don't have children. Maybe you have a family. Maybe you're single. All of these variables will change. So for example, I do dedicate 1/3 of my day, which is like 5 to 6 hours of my day, to my wife and children, wife and daughter. So that itself is a big bucket, right? So that takes away 1/3 of my day, but I don't regret it at all. And I need that. I want that. Like that's the main thing why I'm living. And then there's 1/3 which I dedicate to, breathing, meditation, exercise, yoga, cardio, like all those kinds of things. And I do need that because eventually we'll all get old and we'll have to keep our health. So I'm left with like 5-6 hours a day, which is the main time for me to do deep work to make money, right? So money is another variable, but if you start a services business, you won't need a lot of money. You can start with zero. That's the beautiful thing about a services business. And if you're watching this video, you're probably on your way to making your first crore. You haven't made it yet. In that case, you would really benefit from a services business, right? Finally, there's energy. Now there's ways to have more energy, but if you're doing a job, let's say, and you're left with certain time and then you're using it for Netflix, you're probably not going to make it, right? Because you have all of your time and it sucks energy as well. You don't feel like it. You feel like you're relaxing, but in my opinion, it actually takes away energy because there's all of these scenes that are happening, which create all of these, dopamine loops in your brain and all of those impressions and images. Sometimes you'll figure out that those movies or series, or I don't know what you guys watch, they come in your dreams and all of that. So that means that they're consuming your energy. I don't watch all of that. So I have a lot of free energy, right? I don't watch sports, for example, which is a big one for people. So I've really lived a very focused life to focus on my health, my family, and my business, which are, I think, for me, the pillars of satisfaction. I'm very happy with my life. So people who are thinking that Netflix is the one that makes you happy, for me, this is enough, right? It's making me very, very happy. So one small thing that I do want to mention is a lot of people comment on my videos, especially the previous video. There was a typo in the video and a lot of people commented on that typo. And I've seen this on YouTube a lot. So don't get into those energy trainers. The creator doesn't care. They're not going to, probably they're going to reply, but they don't feel anything. At least for me, I don't feel anything when there's a typo. But what happens is you took the effort to find out the typo, and then you start commenting about, oh, how can this be 1.11 lakhs? It should be 12 lakhs. The whole video is da da da. Instead of taking up with the fundamentals and then focusing on execution, you're now getting into a energy sucking loop, right? So it's a negative loop that you're getting into. And when you go and comment, like leave something which is sort of a negative, it's not like genuinely pointing out positively, hey Rish, I'm sorry, but there's a typo here, you mind fixing it? That's a different thing. But if you go there and start commenting like, this, you made this typo, blah, blah, blah. And now, why did you do that? So trying to pin down on these YouTubers with whatever this thing is just passing on more negativity into the universe, and it's going to come back to you. So money is also in a form of energy. You have to use money. So that's why I pay people. Whenever I have to pay people, I pay people, and that's how I get more money back. I'm not negotiating about a few thousand rupees here and there every day. So I just pay people whenever they ask me to pay them. And I think a lot of money comes back because it's a flow of energy. So save your energy. Instead of writing negative comments across videos, across different people. I'm lucky that way. Like I have not seen negative comments on my channel, but I know that people write on other channels. So whatever else you're doing outside of your work, just focus that on either your family, because family is the number one most important thing, your health, which is again going to keep all your family money and all of that in place, or your business. Then once you've done all of that, maybe you want to leave some negative comments on my YouTube channel. I don't mind, do it, but do it after you've spent the time on things that really matter for your own life, right? So those are the variables. So how do you use all of this and get started? The first thing you can start is, in terms of a services business, is start freelancing. And all you need to do to start freelancing is actually just make your first case study, which means you have to figure out that value, which we decided with the Venn diagram. Let's say for me it was digital marketing, for someone it could be video editing, for someone it could be graphic design, for someone it could be social media marketing, for someone it could be content creation, for someone it could be filing taxes, for someone it could be legal support for companies, for someone it could be let's say for example influencer marketing, finding influencers for startups. There's just so much you can do, copywriting. So you need to provide that service to one client and then make a case study, right? Now you can package your service as a one-time project or as a retainer. Now I know, for example, a lot of website design companies will package it as a one-time project. Instead of that, maybe you want to get into web maintenance, because then you get a retainer. When you get a retainer, you get a monthly payment from the client, and this is what you can invest every month in your SIPs as well. So you have a high lifetime value because you sell only once and you make money every month. Now there's 3 levels of clients. Let's say you're starting in India. You might start at a retainer of 25,000 a month. This could be for video editing, social media, web designing. Now someone who already runs a successful freelancing or agency business might think this is too low, but getting started, it's not bad. If you have 12 clients, you're making 3 lakhs a year additional. Once you increase it to 50K, that's your second level of clients. And you have, just one client, you're making it 6 lakhs. So this is just one client for 12 months is how I've calculated it. 1 lakh, 12 months, 12 lakhs. Now multiply that by the number of clients that you get, and you'll see that you can actually increase your earning potential a lot, right? So let's say you have 10 clients at 25K. Now you probably need 1 or 2 freelancers to help you out with the work, but now you're making 30 lakhs a year, right? So another way to scale this is to get international clients. So the same levels of clients, same amount of effort, same amount of value that you're providing, you'll get paid much more, right? So you could get a 1.5 lakh client, which is base level, 3 lakhs at a mid level, 5 lakhs at a high level. As of today, we even have clients who pay us 10 lakhs a month for marketing services. So there's different levels that you can go to, and you can make crores of rupees by getting these international clients once you've improved yourself as a freelancer over time, right? So if you do the math now, your freelancing income could be on an average 50 lakhs per year with, let's say, an annual expenses of 1 lakh a month, which comes to 12 lakhs. So you'll still be saving 38 lakhs. So you'll be able to hit your 1 CR within less than 3 years. And this is the exact framework or blueprint that I would follow if I had to make my first CR again, right? So once you've done all of that, you want to invest this 1 CR to generate returns every year, because you also want the money to work for you. So this money will go out and make more money. So this brings me to how I've done that. So I'll show you the key holdings on my portfolio so that you get an idea of how I invest my money to make more money, right? So the first holding, which is the biggest holding right now for me, is Midcap 150, which is an index ETF. And I'm not doing a lot of active investing. Yes, I do ETFs, index funds, mutual funds as well, but mostly my portfolio is such that even if I don't look at my portfolio, it doesn't really matter, right? So I don't have to rebalance it from time to time. Maybe once in 6 months or maybe once a year is sort of good enough for me, because I really want to focus on life outside of my portfolio. I want to focus, I go to the beach every morning, I go to the hill every evening, take my daughter along for a hike, those kinds of things I enjoy. So simple things, being close to nature. So I don't want to get too much into my portfolio. I have a separate video on this, which is my investing philosophy and why I don't try to beat the market. But essentially what I do is I use these three as my top. So if you can just see here, you'll see that I've put 1 crore just in 3 ETFs, right? So we have the midcap 150, which is holding currently around 37.5 lakhs. Next 50, which is the Nifty Next 50, 35.58 lakhs, and Nifty 50, which is the top 50 companies, 33. So how do you imagine this, right? So to visualize this, imagine you were to list all of the companies in India by their size. The fancy term for this is market capitalization, but by their size. Just imagine like the biggest company in India, right? So you'll come up with names like Reliance, HDFC, and all of that. So just list them down one and start until 250, right? So the first 50 is going to be Nifty 50, which is where I put 33 lakhs. So as these 50 companies grow, my 33 lakhs will become more, right? The next 50 in the list, which is number 51 to 100, is going to be next 50. As this 35 lakhs grow, which has grown by 55% recently, my money is growing, right? Then the 100 are done. Then the next 150 companies, 37 lakhs, as they will grow. So for example, they've grown by 36% since I've been investing. That will make me more money. So my buy value has been this and my present value have been this. So now the top 250 companies of India, as they grow, and India will grow as an economy, which I'm quite, which is what I'm betting on. As India grows, these company grows, my money grows. So my money is going out through these companies to their customers, to their investments, and making more money and coming back to me, which is great. Now there is a question about taxes. I don't sell, right? When you don't sell, you don't pay taxes. So how do you use the money? There are many ways that you can do that. Not something for this video. This video wanted to focus on how to make your first crore and show you a little bit of what you exactly need. So just remember, this is what you need to think about. A way to make more money, a way to keep more money, and a way to grow more money. That's all for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.